Welcome everyone. Thanks for having me in New Relic. It's awesome to be here. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm a manager of marketing systems engineering for Tableau software. We're based in Seattle. I'm just going to kind of take you through the journey. First thing a lot of people ask me about is what the hell is marketing engineering? Fundamentally, I am a marketer, but also I'm a software engineer. This comes from the place where New Relic the belief that New Relic holds, which is that every organization is a software organization. I also believe that every business unit within an organization is becoming a software organization, marketing included. And basically, we just use code to further the needs and goals of marketing. That might be lead generation or prospect engagement or program scalability, that kind of thing. As for Tableau specifically, we are an analytics and business intelligence and visualization software company as well. We specialize in helping people see and understand their data through a drag and drop interface that hopefully you can see here. Quicker than I can even explain what's happening, someone can drag and drop pills from rows and columns of data to see and gain insights into what they do. So being that our product is extremely adaptable and flexible to different types of data, it's exceedingly difficult to market to such a wide kind of base of verticals. And so one of the things that we do in marketing engineering is try and improve the way that we surface content to different types of prospect groups, basically. So as you can imagine, a healthcare worker or a retail worker or someone in manufacturing is going to want to see data demoed using our product in very different ways. Or even at the job role or job title level, and someone at an analyst level is going to want to do different things than someone at a VP or executive level, or even someone who is like a systems administrator. They all have different needs and different buying styles. And then something that probably all companies deal with is targeting users in various points of the sales life cycle. Someone who's brand new is going to want different content than someone who is an existing customer. And so, being a data-driven organization, we try and measure everything that we do, and the way that we measure our success in relation to marketing in different groups is to basically collect as much data as possible. So we know when everyone downloads a trial or a white paper or watches a training video, a webinar, that kind of thing. Along with all those events, we add some metadata like what was the campaign ID or what is the lead source or lead source detail, and then later we can analyze how well those campaigns or lead sources are performing based on the number of downloads or views that occur, or how much revenue is generated, or that sort of thing. So, enter New Relic Insights. Hopefully you all got an idea of what exactly it is from the keynote this morning that Lou gave. Essentially, it is a scalable real-time event database that has almost like a production data store performance characteristics, where you can query through hundreds of millions or even billions of events and get back a response in under a second, sometimes tens of milliseconds. Essentially, you have different types of events that you can put in. Sometimes those are custom events, like you could put in a sale event, or sometimes you can just add extra metadata to an existing event that you're pushing through APM or a browser, or that kind of thing. And we use APM and Insights in concert to do some of the measurement that we do. A typical lead flow, if you're going to download a white paper, would be you land on this page, you'll add a form, download the white paper. Behind the form, we have some hidden values that we append, such as those campaign details, lead source details, that kind of thing. That form gets posted back to our backend. That gets pushed to APM and then Insights. And then in the meantime, the user gets the white paper and they go to a confirmation page where we have some recommendations about what kind of content they might be able to see that might be more useful to continue engaging with them. Once that data is insights, we can do some awesome analysis very quickly using that NERCL query language. Here we're looking at white paper downloads over a period of a month. Whenever I made this presentation, like 8 months ago or something. We're just filtering down to content of type white paper and this particular lead engagement transaction name. And as we can see, there are like 12.3-ish thousand downloads that occurred during this period. Some of the top names are like top 10 business intelligence trends for 2015, or which charter graph is right for you, which is kind of a look at different types of visualizations and when you might want to use them, that kind of thing. But with the power of insights, I can facet down to the same view of white papers over the same time period, but filter down to just a job level of analyst. And here we can see there are about 2,300 downloads during that same period. But you can see that the top white papers have shifted. Number one would be Excel, great hammer, lousy screwdriver, which speaks very well to the types of problems that an analyst would face day to day. Which charter graph is right for you is still up there. And then also you might notice that using R in Tableau jumped a little bit, something a little bit more tactical, a little more technical. And then we can filter down again to same time frame, but looking at a job level of VP. And you can see the concerns are very different for a VP and executive. Top 10 business intelligence trends, top again. And then there's data government for self-service analytics. And then also we see a Gartner and an economist. So maybe reports are more important to them. So if I were a business analyst, I might conclude from these findings that, hey, overall, analysts seem to download white papers more than VPs. But also, the type of content that they prefer is a little bit different. Analysts want technical, tool-oriented content, while VPs and executives seem to prefer like market reports, trends, vision, strategy kind of content. So maybe we should spin up a project where we want to change the way that those related white papers on the confirmation page are displayed so that we can get better engagement. But maybe we can actually avoid all of that wasted effort of going through a change management review, like a project with a creative brief or user scenarios or specs and stuff like that. And maybe because Insights is so fast and powerful and has characteristics of like an application database, the performance characteristics, why don't we, through the API that they make available to us, make the Insights data available in our application so we can make our application smarter and do this kind of thing for us. And so we are kind of going down this integrated analytics road. We happen to, our web app is made using Drupal. And Drupal is a content management system. One of its kind of bread and butter things is that you can model entities, content through the user interface, and you can just add different fields and facets to a piece of content. We built a statistics API on top of this that leverages entities so that you can add custom dimensions to like APM transactions as people are loading content on the site, viewing it, or interacting in other ways. And then Drupal also has a kind of abstracted entity query API where you can, in a database agnostic way, query for that data. It will generate the query, execute the query, and return the data for you. So how it might look, or how it actually does look, is something like this in PHP. You instantiate an entity field query object, you add some conditions to filter down to what you want. The abstraction will generate a NURQL query, execute the NURQL query against Insights through the JSON API, and pull that data back. Drupal, being one of the largest open source projects in the world, has a very large ecosystem of contributed plugins and modules, and one of them is a query builder that can utilize that database abstraction layer, the query layer, and you can actually, through a UI, not knowing any PHP code at all, generate these NURQL queries, execute them, and return the data in a way that is themable through the regular Drupal ways. So one of the things that this enables for us, like a more mundane use case, is where we literally just use the Insights database as an application database. We can pull down those records, and occasionally, like our CRM system will go down, and we need to repost them to the CRM system. That's one of the more boring things. But one of the more interesting things, I want to take it back to those related white papers. What we can do is use a NURQL query through that query builder API to filter the results of a query for content in Drupal based on the data that Insights returns to us, based on contextual values like on that form that person just filled out, did they call themselves an analyst or a VP? And based on that, can I return different results? So if I was an analyst, I can filter that result down to like Excel, great hammer, lousy screwdriver, which charter graph is right for you, that sort of thing. And if they're a VP or an executive, we can dynamically filter that down to the reports from Gartner, The Economist, or the top 10 business intelligence trends without having to go into the data ourselves. It will just happen automatically. We believe that this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg of integrating your analytics and your application. There are a lot of use cases beyond just that like confirmation page experience. Maybe you want to affect like your website's main navigation based on how long they've been a customer. Or maybe you want to do some A/B testing around which dimensions are more effective at creating greater engagement. Or potentially if you're in an e-commerce type situation, you can get a little bit more interesting by tying those filtering capabilities to direct sales. Or if you're more into web app security, you could query insights for suspicious or malicious looking behavior and trigger forced authentication or something like that. So I just want to, if you use Drupal, go ahead, this is open source. You can download this right now and use it immediately. But if you don't use Drupal and you work on a different application framework like a Rails or a Django or something like that, I want to encourage you to think about how you might integrate a database system, an analytics system like Insights as like a first-class citizen in that framework, and how you might be able to leverage that to do super interesting things to improve conversion, improve engagement, that kind of thing. That's kind of all I had. I'll be in the hacker room taking questions, but thank you very much for your time and your attention.